All right, today we are diving into a technology that isn't just a small step forward for computers. It's a massive leap into a whole new reality. We're talking about quantum computing, and together we're going to break down what it is, why it's about to change, well, pretty much everything, and most importantly, how you can approach it as an investor. So let's jump right in. Let's just start with a number that kind of stops you in your tracks. $1.3 trillion. That's the value that analysts at McKinsey think quantum computing could unlock by 2035. This isn't just some incremental improvement. A number that big signals a complete shakeup of entire industries.
And to really get what that number means, think about this quote. We're not just talking about a faster chip here. We are talking about a technological revolution on the same scale as the internet itself. It's something that's going to change how we solve problems on the most fundamental level.
So just how big could this get? Well, the global quantum market is on an absolutely explosive path. We're seeing forecasts for a compound annual growth rate, a CAGR, of anywhere from 20% to over 40% all the way through 2030. For anyone investing, that is deep, deep in hypergrowth territory. And just look at the range here. Projections for 2030 are all over the place, from maybe $4 billion on the conservative side to $20 billion on the high end. But honestly, don't get too hung up on the exact number. The key signal here, the one thing everyone agrees on, is that steep, upward, high growth curve. That's the real takeaway.
Okay, so to understand why this technology is so incredibly valuable, we've got to go beyond the simple ones and zeros of the computers we use every day. Let's take a quick look at the weird and wonderful physics that gives these machines their unbelievable power.
Everything on your phone, your laptop, it's all built on this, the classical bit. It can be a 0 or it can be a 1. That's it. Simple. Now, the quantum bit, or qubit, it's a completely different beast. It can be a 0 and a 1 at the exact same time. The best analogy? Think of a spinning coin. While it's spinning, it's not heads, it's not tails, it's kind of both at once, right? That both at once property is called superposition. So that property, superposition, is really the first pillar of quantum power. It means a single qubit can explore a huge number of possibilities all at once, instead of having to check them one by one like a normal computer.
And if you thought that was weird, hold on. The second pillar is called entanglement, and this is where things get truly bizarre. Imagine two qubits becoming so linked, so connected, that if you measure one, you instantly know the state of the other one, even if it's on the other side of the universe. It's the spooky connection that gives quantum algorithms their real problem-solving muscle.
And this right here, this is where the magic really happens, exponential scaling. If you have n qubits, they can represent all 2 to the power of n possibilities simultaneously. So just 20 qubits can hold over 1 million values at the same time. A classical computer, it would need 1 million bits to do that. This is exactly why quantum computers can even begin to think about problems that are just impossibly complex for us today. Okay, so we've got all this incredible theoretical power, but where does the rubber meet the road? Let's talk about the why behind all this physics, the kind of currently impossible problems that quantum is set to just blow wide open. These are some of the biggest targets. In medicine, think about simulating molecules to design brand new drugs for diseases we can't touch right now. In finance, they could optimize massive investment portfolios in ways that are just unimaginable today. In materials science, designing new types of batteries or solar cells from the atomic level up. And then there's cryptography. This one is a real double-edged sword. There's an algorithm, Shor's algorithm, that if run on a big enough quantum computer, could break the very encryption that protects basically all of our digital lives. This has led to this scary idea called harvest now, decrypt later, where adversaries are probably already saving our encrypted data, just waiting for the day they have the quantum key to unlock it all. So, as you can imagine, this immense potential has kicked off a massive global hardware race. The goal is to build a useful, powerful quantum computer. The problem? Nobody can agree on the best way to actually do it. It is a wide-open, high-stakes shootout between totally different designs. And here's just a little snapshot of that race. You've got the big guys like IBM and Google betting on superconducting qubits. You've got others like IonQ who think trapped ions are the way to go because they're so accurate. Some are even chasing photons, which could work at room temperature. The big takeaway here is that it's a horse race, and there is no clear favorite.
And that's absolutely critical for how we think about investing.
So, with all this uncertainty and all this complexity, how on earth do you even begin to think about investing in this revolution? Well, the good news is you don't have to pick the one winning horse in the hardware race. The trick is to think about the entire ecosystem. This chart shows you all the different ways you can get in on the action. Yeah, you've got the high-risk, pure-play hardware companies, you've got the huge, diversified tech giants, but you can also invest in the cloud companies offering quantum as a service. Or, what I think is really interesting, you can invest in the picks and shovels companies, the ones making the lasers, the cooling systems, all the gear that everybody needs, no matter whose computer wins.
So here's a really smart way to build a quantum portfolio. Think about it in layers. You start with a solid foundation of those lower-risk tech giants and the essential picks and shovels suppliers. Then you add a middle layer of the enablers, like the cloud platforms or even ETFs. And then, right at the top, you can place your smaller, high-risk, high-reward bets on a few of those pure-play hardware innovators.
And this really brings us to the core idea. Let's be clear, investing in quantum today is not about next quarter's profits. It is a patient, strategic, long-term investment in a foundational shift in technology, just like investing in the internet was back in the early 90s. I think this quote just perfectly captures where we are right now. The debate isn't really about if this technology is going to be a game changer anymore. The whole conversation has shifted. Now it's all about when it's going to happen and who are going to be the leaders that emerge from the pack. The next great computing paradigm is being built right now in labs all over the world. So the only real question left is, are you ready for it? Thanks for tuning in.